Hi, I'm Dan from Ozgel.
And I'm Jamie from History Squad.
And I'm Leszek from Gunfire.
Hey Leszek, and today we are going to have a chat with Gunfire about some potential Specna arms blasters being released in Australia. Okay, so look, Leszek, thank you so much for joining us, mate. Really appreciated. You got a really nice sized channel there on YouTube and a bit of a personality in Europe there. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you've come from?
Yeah, of course, I come from Poland, where Gunfire is situated. Maybe let me tell just a story of my history with airsoft, because the rest of my life is quite boring. So I started doing this, I think, about 17 years ago, something like that. And after 3, maybe 4 years, I hooked up with Gunfire. It was one of my first jobs. And since then, I stayed with Gunfire. I think that except the CEO, I am the second oldest guy who's working here. It's funny when I speak with other friends, with people I meet, and I say, yeah, I work for Gunfire at least 13 years. And they're like, what? I change my job every 3 years. But I love my job, but really, I really do. So I just want to stay as long as possible, boss.
Excellent.
Yeah, a few years ago, I started this to be the presenter, so my job got even more interesting.
Would you be right to talk a bit more about Spectra Arms? This brand seems pretty big in Europe. Personally, I'm more aware of the US side of airsoft, which is not a lot, being Australian, but would you be okay with telling us a little bit more about the community and the Europe side?
Airsoft community in Europe is very large. I'm sure that it's not larger than in America, but nobody knows the amount of players per se, but I would say it's about 200,000, I'm sure. And depending on the country, there's more or less, because there are countries where airsoft is restricted, like Netherlands, which joined airsoft community like 3 years ago, or maybe 4, and they need certain license to do that. So if somebody is not very into it, may not decide to join. It's a bit similar in UK, when you need to also have a kind of a license. In Poland, it's more like Wild West. So we do not have any regulations regarding airsoft, and we would like it to stay like this, because if our government starts something, it always ends miserably. So
I won't disagree.
The biggest event in Europe, in Czech Republic, usually has around 2,000 or 3,000 players.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah.
Something like that.
Ah, cool. So, and tanks and all sorts of stuff there as well.
That's one of the things we don't have much of here in Australia.
Yeah. That's it. Hopefully soon. Yeah, hopefully that changes in Australia over time. But but the events are getting bigger and bigger, which is good over here.
Exponentially.
I really wish you that. There is something very warm and very nice when you play with your guys in small teams. So it's like family. But when you see thousands of guys in front of you, and you know that a half of this 1,000 will be your enemies, and there are tanks and armored vehicles and stuff like that. Well, that really is something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Oh, you never know. You might get some Australians visiting one year.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah, of course. I would be glad to take you anywhere I know.
Fantastic. Now, Leszek, could you take us through some of the Specna Arms range?
Yeah, it's quite wide. I'm not sure. I won't tell you the right number, the exact number, because Specna Arms replicas are like pouring every year. But it's much more than 100 different models and different types. So there are, of course, assault rifles like U.S. assault rifles, AR-15s. There are Russian assault rifles, German assault rifles, G and H series, saws, sniper rifles, and most of them are in many models and many different colors, especially AR-15s. If you would like to choose some AR-15 from Specna Arms, you may have a problem to decide, because about lengths, colors, different stacks, different rails, there is a lot.
Oh, that's always good to know. Yeah, we'd be happy to take any of them as a job.
Yeah, that's it. So So out of all of those, do you think we'll see any as a gel blaster in the near or distant future?
Yeah, of course. As I said, airsoft replicas, there are hundreds by Specna Arms. They will start, of course, smaller at the beginning. So I guess that the 4 models will reach Australia that are gel blasters. But since AEG is not so far away from gel blaster, so when I first saw the internals, I said, okay, that's just a very weird airsoft replica, and it looks as if it shoots 8mm BBs, so it's cool. So I wouldn't see any problem with making the range of gel blasters much bigger. If there only are Australian players that would like to play it, and I'm sure there will be, because Specna Arms parts internally and outside are best quality.
Yeah, our community is pretty much always on the hunt for new blasters all the time.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, they're going to be very popular.
You're quite young, like
Yes.
2 or 3 years.
Anything
like that?
Yeah, well, I've only been personally in this since 2018, and they've technically been existing for a bit longer than that, but more just as a novelty kind of thing. In the actual kind of mag-fed environment they exist in now, it's 2018, 2019 is pretty much the kickoff point. So pretty much infancy compared to airsoft.
You're like our big brother
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah. I totally feel like that.
Yes. Well, big brother, another question for you then. We noticed that you guys work with Gate, the airsoft electronics manufacturer. Tell us a little bit about how they integrate with Specna Arms AEGs.
Well, I'm not gonna be saying a lot about gunfire involved with it, but there is gunfire involved in it, somewhere in between. So Gate produces and invents their stuff in Poland. So we've got the same language, we think the same. So it was not at all problematic to get involved with them. And since we are a strategic partner for Specna Arms, it was natural for us to try to implement their great stuff into Specna Arms replicas. And since Specna Arms replicas are very easy to tinker with, putting electronics by Gate inside Specna Arms replicas was very easy. And since then, most of these are put into replicas in Specna Arms factory.
Oh, cool.
So Specna Arms seems to be pretty large and hold a fairly large position in the European market. Would you be okay with talking a bit more on where they kind of came from?
Yeah, I would have to kill you.
I like it. I like it.
Actually, I got to interject here. Like, he jokes about this, but I remember when I first met with the Specna Arms owners, they all looked like a room full of mafia. I was actually worried. I was sort of thinking, okay,
That's the best.
don't say the wrong thing, Dan. Don't say the wrong thing.
See that mustache? Yeah.
Yep.
That was the guy asking questions.
Yes.
I'll take that para right there on the wall.
Oh, yeah, there's some nice stuff there on the wall.
Yeah, some of this is mine, some of not. Yeah, but coming back, of course, the history is not a secret. They originate, the brand originates from Hong Kong. Their headquarters is out there, but they operate all over the world. And personally, and as a member of Gunfire, I am very proud that Gunfire is a strategic partner of that company. Not many people know that they started with SAW replicas. Then they introduced very revolutionary, as for the time, because it was, I think, something like 6 years ago, their first AR-15 that had a quick spring change. I know that it's not very important for you blaster owners, but for airsoft players, it's quite fun.
I will admit, I'm quite interested in that product myself. The quick spring system in the edges. It is, yeah. I actually, we have
every Specna Arms.
I think we have a very rudimentary version of that in some things, but
there's been attempts to copy it.
But nothing really, nothing that I've ever really seen. Like, because I've been trying to catch up in recent weeks on Gunfire and Specna, and I've been watching quite a few videos, and I'm pretty interested in it. Like, we were off camera just talking about it before. Like, it's definitely something I'd like to see come over with the gel blasters. Like it's a product I'd definitely be invested in.
Yeah, as far as we know, as we noticed that for gel blasters, it was not as important as for airsoft blades.
Yep.
But if it is, I'm sure that Specna Arms is so flexible they will implement.
Yeah, well, we have some
inside
fields
like
that
that.
are restricted and some
Not
that
rocket
aren't.
science.
So being able to jump it up for fields where we're not kind of limited to our FPS and so on is a good option to have.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Leszek, how has your occupation in the sport allowed you to lead a life that's different to people in other occupations, I guess, like normal life?
Very interesting question, because for me it's a normal life. But when I meet somebody new and I tell them what I do, for them it's like being an adventurer, and I can understand that some people may think it like that, because when I say, yeah, I sell rifles, and they're like, fake rifles that shoot plastic ammunition or biodegradable ammunition, and they are totally legal. And oh, okay. And then I sometimes go to other countries just to watch or take part in big battles using those rifles, and they're like, oh, that seems like a very interesting and fun thing to do. And I'm saying, yes, I do it to have fun, and I do it to earn and get money. So I think that that's a win-win. There is also, because I'm sure that my wife is not gonna watch this interview, there is one interesting thing. When you're married and you want to go to a skirmish, let's say 3-day skirmish or 5 days, just like I know what you think. It's sometimes like negotiation, okay? She's like, okay, you will go on the skirmish, but then you have to, for example, do this, do that, some chores. And I'm like, honey, that's my job. I need to be there. Never mind that I'm gonna be having fun. Yeah, but that's my job.
That's besides the point.
Well, it's funny, you know, like, because my wife, like, even things like when I'm doing these podcasts with people or, you know, committing to promoting an event or something, I'll always sort of say, hey, sweetie, you know, you want to come out and just keep me company? And originally she sort of went, yeah, you know, she came along. But nowadays it's like, no, you go. You know, I get me time now. So, yeah, always a positive.
Go away.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you've been on YouTube for a while now, since about 2007, I think it is. And I was just liking to know, how do you think you have evolved over the years in terms of your video content, the way you produce?
2007, you say? Well, when the channel started, I was not taking part in videos.
Yep.
I remember when first videos were made, I was already in Gunfire. Then I was working then in one of our shops.
Oh, okay.
And my friends who were also working there were just recording presentations of the replicas. You know, very, very simple stuff. It was very, very, very long ago. And I remember that back then I did not want to do that. Then many years passed. Between there was another presenter who was doing this, who was borrowed from another company.
Borrowed, you say?
Yeah, borrowed. That is related also with military stuff, but not mostly airsoft. And then I was asked to try, and I decided that is very cool, and I'm very happy that I made this choice, because that is really, really a fun job.
Do you find it's somewhat integral for the industry to have the sort of online presence and the kind of affiliated players sort of thing, or do you find it's just more of a niche that exists within our industries?
It's very helpful, I think, both for the industry and for the players.
Yep.
You've got presenters like me or guys from Red Wolf that are showing their merchandise. Let's say it let's call it like that. But then you have also presenters that are not involved at all with any companies, that are freelancers.
Yeah.
So you can watch both. You can make your own presumptions about what is more probable or not. Being in industry, we have a bit different knowledge that people that are not inside.
Yep.
So sometimes we can give you more information that is more detailed.
Yeah.
So I think that it is good that there are also presenters like me or guys from Red Wolf or from EVIC from United States, and also freelancers, because if there were no freelancers, it would be like just CNN and BBC in America.
Just the
you would have
buy our
idea.
stuff. Buy our stuff. Yeah. The $1 million question: what do you know about gel blasters?
Gel what?
Gel blasters.
I have never heard about it.
Like it's like our gel ball guns.
Oh yeah, those little boogers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think he's teasing us.
I think so.
I'm not sure how long ago it was. Maybe a year and a half. One of our guys from Gunfire showed me a short video where a bunch of Asians were just pouring a lot of something on each other from a distance is like 1 meter or even less, and they all had drum mags, and I'm like, what are these replicas and how much FPS do they have? So they just like spray on each other. And he said, dude, these are not replicas, they are gel blasters. And I'm like, gel what? Yeah, gel blasters. He showed me a picture of gel blasters, and I said, yeah, okay. And I forgot, because it was totally something that we were not into back then. But then some time passed, and he put a gel ball on my table, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he said, that's the ammunition. Well, some time passed, and we tried how it shoots. We looked inside the AEG gel blasters, and I noticed that it's just like airsoft gun, just the bore is bigger. There is no hop up, except the one you can mount at the end of the barrel.
Correct.
That it's very interesting. I don't know how much you know about paintball, but I started as paintball player like 1,000,000 years ago. And I remember that when I was finishing paintball and starting airsoft, there was something that was called Apex barrel that worked just like your hop-up.
Yes.
Yeah, so you mounted it at the end of the barrel, and it gave this backspin. So yeah, that's how it happens. Now, of course, when I started shooting it, I said, yeah, I'm probably going to stay with airsoft.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, but the cool stuff about gel guns, what I find very, very attractive, especially as a person who tries to choose between, I don't know, paintball, airsoft, or gel blasters, is first, your ammunition is really ridiculously cheap.
Okay, go for that one.
Yeah, it's super, super cheap. It's super, super soft. So if you're hit from a very close distance, it still doesn't hurt.
Although some people in Australia, when you're at games, they still whinge about it. They still don't like it.
Yeah, you do get a few.
I'm sure that not real Australians. I'm sure they're like from Wales, just visiting Australia.
I love that.
Know. Yeah, and it doesn't leave any much stains or any stains. So yeah, it's cool.
Definitely not.
It's something that I if I was to choose doing like playing video games or using gel blasters, I would totally go into gel blasters and then play video games.
I was just wanting to know, are you going to be coming to check out Australia when you guys are sort of able to get into the country?
I totally will. I totally would until you get rid of all those nasty venomous creatures that you have. Especially spiders.
I can't promise anything on that one.
Hey, while we're on that subject, let's have a bit of a chat about those venomous creatures and some of the scary stuff here. I have to ask you, have you heard about the drop bear?
Drop bear?
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen pictures, and I know that that's something that Aussies are trying to fool everybody else from other countries.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that, because we know you would have watched all the other podcasts, so we got a lot of people with that. We just thought that was funny, because now it's almost going to be like Boy Who Cried Wolf, because we've also got these things. They're like a larger version of the great white shark, but they're called a death shark, and they essentially, when they eat their prey, it's like a humpback whale that sucks in water when they open their mouth. But as they suck in the water, it's coming in at such a fast rate that it shreds up their prey as it's coming in. That's something that you really need to avoid in the ocean. Have you ever heard of those?
You just don't swim.
Don't swim. Yeah, stay away from the ocean.
That sounds like something that exists only in very, very cheap American horror movies.
Well, we should like put this to the test then. And when you come to visit Australia, we'll go for a swim down at one of the local beaches here.
No freaking way. The jellyfish you have all around are killer jellyfish. No
See, this
way.
guy's actually smart. He knows where the real dangers are.
I got the scars to worry about those ones. Jellyfish suck.
Not fun.
But we can totally go and swim in some river or lake with all the crocs.
Oh, you're cool with that?
I'll take the jellyfish.
No problem. Yeah, I ate crocodile at the beginning of this year before all the lockdown starts, and it's tasteful enough so I can try to get my own.
All right. Well, look, you've been hugely entertaining. This has been a fantastic podcast. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Oh, mate, it's been absolutely fantastic. Now, you guys have social media channels. How do people find you?
Of course. The easiest way, if you want to find us or me on Facebook channel, is to write down Gunfire. That's the logo over my head. We also have a YouTube channel that's called Gunfire TV.
Prepared.
Shirt on, Gunfire TV. And if you're on Instagram, you can just type down that guy from Gunfire. That guy, not dead, at least not now. That guy from Gunfire, and I would be very, very pleased if you joined, so I would have more than 5 viewers.
All right, hopefully we can help you out there. We know you've got quite a large following already.
Quite a few more than me.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, and how do people find you, Jamie?
So anyone who's in the content side of Gelball, just hit up History Squad Gelsoft on Facebook, and you can pretty much find us from there.
Really good content starting to come out there, so looking forward to that. And guys, I'm Dan from Ozgel, and as always, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook. We're also on Instagram at OzgelAmmo, and of course, we've got our website, www.ozgel.com.au. Watch this space for Spectre Arms. Leszek, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Toodaloo.